What is happening, Magnusites? I never truly trusted James Gunn not to go woke. We'll just have to see what he does, though. Uh, as much as I like Peacemaker, there's definitely woke sprinkled in that joint. However, we are talking about the Green Lantern now. James Gunn's The Lanterns woke, hinted by Tom King, rumored casting. Okay. I knew when we heard that James Gunn's Lanterns TV series had Tom King and Damon Lindelof involved that we might be in trouble. It's sounding more and more as if DCU's Lanterns series will be woke and all about teaching us life lessons. I've never had an issue with being taught life lessons. G.I. Joe used to do it. And no one's half the battle. G.I. Joe. But in today's day and age, you can teach life lessons without being woke. Just like we did in the 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s. We taught life lessons without being woke. Now we are in the dwindling times of the woke, and hopefully they'll be gone forever very, very soon. But let's continue reading. We get hints that my initial feeling might be correct from Tom King, who writes for DC Comics and Lanterns TV series and consults with James Gunn on the DCU, as well as from a rumored casting description for confirmed actors. Lindelof was also behind the Watchmen TV series. Oh, good Lord. It says here, how'd that work out for you? I couldn't even get through that. I forgot all about that. Big old piece of trash. If you're not familiar with Tom King, he's a former CIA. They never leave the CIA. Officer who now writes for DC Comics. Really? Well, his comics feature woke disclaimers about offensive terminology, and King tried to get a comic book artist canceled because of his politics. How did Gunn like it? Among other things, sounds like a stand-up dude. Now, while speaking with Business Insider, the alarm bells go off as King says the Lantern series is about making the characters relevant today. Replace that with it's made for modern audiences. And the issue of everything we're dealing with. The issue of everything we're dealing with. We all know what that means. Yes, sir. Damon, Chris, and I came up with a lot of love for the material, and we wanted to do what I've always done in comics, which is take these original creations and show why they're still relevant today and why they can speak to both the audience and the issues of everything we're dealing with. So what is Lanterns about? The official description says the series follows new recruit John Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Interesting. However, at the same time, I've seen various descriptions suggesting that Hal Jordan is over the hill or washed up and doesn't get along with Stewart. I think where we can see where that's going. If you've been paying attention to woke at all, you know exactly where it's going. Also, I think with the series being set in the heartland of America, we can potentially see where this series could be going, especially after the big election win by you know who. Don't mention that name to Gunn, King, or Lindelof. Fans also think that James Gunn is going to kill off Hal Jordan in the series. Here's what's interesting. Like you got Falcon is Captain America, and you also have John Stewart, who are beloved characters. And the problem is that fans know why they're using them. They're not using them because they're beloved characters. We know why you're using them. And they're still doing it. But we'll see. I have to see the series and tell you if it's woke or not. But all this being said here doesn't sound good. Regarding the casting, recently saw the confirmation that Porna Jack, whatever her name is playing Zoe in the Lantern series. I know who Zoe is. Previous to the cast rumor hit the net, she was being cast in a role as Zoe. However, the rumors say Jon Stewart gets into an affair with an older woman named Zoe. She's a Native American woman and the only person of color in an all-white town. Zoe's married to a businessman named Dylan, and he's described as one of the antagonists of the series. Well, of course, Dylan is probably a white dude, which looks to be Garrett Dillahunt. Okay. Well, as I pointed out, she isn't even a Native American Indian, and Native Americans don't consider themselves people of color. That's interesting, even though they are. And all my Indian friends hate woke BS. She's the actual daughter of an Indian diplomat, as in India, and the Indians from India don't consider themselves people of color, even though they are. That's interesting. I've seen some really light ones, but you definitely have color. I've seen some of them darker than me with pink lips. I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow. Yeah, I don't see too many of them. But I've seen one specifically, and I was like, wow. I didn't know that they actually got that dark skin over there. It could be the casting call got info wrong. But again, both Porna, I can't, and Garrett were named in the rumor with their casting since confirmed. It's possibly safe to say the description is also somewhere somewhat true, or at least used ideas being tossed around. Well, so it says here, if it is woke, here are some possible spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any possible spoilers, the series follows the old white dude, Hal Jordan, goes to investigate something in America's heartland, the whitest place on earth. Hal, the old bastard, doesn't want to be there and is miserable. Hal is forced to have the angry young black Jon Stewart tag along, who Hal doesn't want to be bothered with. Hal and the black Jon Stewart arrive in town of racists. One white guy somehow happens to be married to a person of color who is the only person of color they have ever seen. The wife is also miserable and she hates her racist husband and racist townfolk who she feels have been holding her back all her life. The 30-year-old Jon Stewart gets into a relationship with the 50-year-old person of color, because they're both people of color. Hal and John eventually solve the mystery, but not before the series tells the audience how bad white people are. Hal dies. Jon Stewart is the DCU screenwriter. It is what it is, folks. We'll just have to see what James Gunn gives us. We'll just have to say, these are all rumors and speculations. 10 million subscribers.